dentistry for child and adolescent in the year 2019. His areas of interest include OPMDs and odontogenic tumors. With that, I now invite Dr. Tigina Manisa to take over and begin the guest lecture.
Very sorry, I apologize for that. I was there in the faculty presentation. Sorry, sir. Okay, very good afternoon. Actually, I thought it would start at 11:30, so I made it as good morning. It was afternoon. I'm sorry for that, and I think most of already exhausted with the water. So much of overflooding of our Rajesh sir's knowledge flooding. I think it is 10 years now. So I just continue that. Okay, let's continue. Very happy Deepavali. Before we proceed with today's presentation, I would like to thank my Guru, Dronacharyas, because of whom I am here today. Okay, so it was my first oral pathology teacher who put the seed of oral pathology in undergraduate. Next one was my postgraduate teacher. I was his first PG student. He put some more fertilizers for that, and she groomed it more, and I was taken away in his Gurukul. He groomed me how to be in the oral pathology. That's why I consider him as a teacher. Okay. This is my workplace. I'm from Malaysia, Segi University. Our university encourages the students and the faculty mobility. You all are welcome. Anybody want to be, please let us discuss later. For today's presentation, I dedicated to the young grads. The young grads were the origin of the odontogenic tumors. Okay. This one is always been questioning into my mind. The odontogenic organ is a feminine or a masculine? Somehow I don't know. Any opinion from your side? What do you feel? Feminine, masculine? Okay, we'll come for that. For me, it felt more of a feminine. Maybe because the masculine, we work something and we see through that, we put a board over that. We are working. For the classical example of saying that I am working, let us take the tuberculous bacterium. Bacteria is masculine because इतना खास के पूरा दुनिया को पता चल जाएगा, लोग पूछना शुरू करेंगे, भाई टीबी तो नहीं है. Like we have to make them feel that when they is at work. Okay, the same did not happen true with the odontogenic organ, this enamel organ. One enamel organ will give rise to so many lesions. So many lesions. I just felt maybe something like this. Okay, then I'm still with the feminine. Origin is something like enamel organ to be in feminine. It is, you can see, You can check out with the males who are sitting here. Everybody is wearing on the white color shirt or blue color shirt, including me. That's a classical of a man. That's female, just like you can make it out. She doesn't like to be one costume, it doesn't match with the other one. Ameloblastoma, first is how it has been formed. One ameloblastoma will have 6 variants of the histological types. Now it is a follicular, plexiform, basal, desmoplastic, okay, on and on. Now, how the ameloblastoma is being formed and what are the factors which forms into the histological types? We don't know, unknown for that. Now that's the interesting part. Okay. So this I request for all the men married, please raise your hand how many agree with this. I don't raise my hand because my wife is in the conference. Okay. The new lesions. The organ often give us something like a new one, like POT in the 2017, and in 2022 we have a new entity called as Adam. That doesn't end there. She also likes to have the fusion of the fashion. Now we have an adenoid ameloblastoma, fusion of multiple lesions, something like maybe ameloblastoma, then AOT, a fusion of that. Okay, that's is how I felt that much the enamel organ is more towards of feminine. But I'll continue with that. That doesn't mean that I don't have respect for that. I apologize if anybody got hurt. I have a very high regards for the female and a high respect for that. Name one Indian captain who has won the World Cup and has celebrated the same way how the females celebrated on the podium. No, there is no example how she enjoyed on the podium. That's the classical. Okay. This dilemma, I think I also have. How many PG sitting, please? Everybody has this. You join post-graduation with some, you start with the OKC. By the day you are appearing exam, it will be something else. Very common. That my teacher is always used to say this one. When we were students, we are very good and best at what? Classify, reclassify, again classify. We are fantastic at it. OKC became KCOT, then we got bored about it, and then we are back to the OKC again. AOT is a cyst, hematoma, fortunately it's still continuing as a tumor. Then AOT is an epithelial origin or combination, or now as of now in the 22 it is a epithelial origin. Next one, solid multicystic ameloblastoma. That's I think they felt more convenient, so they made it as a conventional ameloblastoma. Adam. Now, Adam is a variant of an ameloblastoma or it's a standalone. ये standalone से मेरे को एक किस्सा याद आ गया. Me, my colleague Meganand, myself and Sangmesh, we were outstanding students. Don't take wrong. Outstanding is standing out of the department. हमेशा बाहर निकल जाते थे. So I was thinking something like stand alone is stand. How PG has PG will be standing alone looking for what is the reason for that. Okay. Variation, geographic variation. This one is something like very interesting. I found something. First, ontogenic lesions are rare. Now, why it is showing the variations among the globally? Maybe it's a genetic, or it is might be environmental factors, or is that because the differences of the data which we are being obtained, maybe a university, or it might be a hospital based, or, and the second next question is because maybe it is asymptomatic, slow growing, so patient might reach late. Next one, the still more surprising for me was how this Asian has a more of an ameloblastoma, why European countries have lesser ameloblastomas. Why the ontogenic tumors in the Africa is at the 30 years of age, and why in the European countries it starts with the 50 plus years. Now the most common reported subtype of the ameloblastoma is the follicular type. Okay, we continue, sir. This was what I was being taught the origin of the tumor when I was in the undergraduate. It may be enamel organ, the cell rest of the cell rest, maybe in Surrey or it is the Malays. or it is maybe odontogenic cyst, where denticular cyst has been turning out into the ameloblastoma, or it is a basal surface cells has been of the jaw, or it is a individual status of the health or a nutritional status. Now I just moved out into that and went to the post graduation. We had big boss entry there, Mumbai ka Badshah. He came with that. I think whatever you heard of the language of Bombay now is a 0.1% what we have heard. Believe me, if you used to say ameloblastoma, वो भी गाली लगती थी. Okay, so that is here. Okay. Now, ameloblastoma, those days of when we were post graduations, there was lots of prophylactic extractions were going on. Means that the impacted tooth was considered as a ticking, tick, 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 tick. One day is going to explode something. As to an extent saying, thinking that it might be a pre-ameloblastomas. The concepts of the pre-ameloblastomas, or it is giving rise to the dentigerous cyst turning to the ameloblastoma, both share textbook does not support. Okay, now that might be what it has been thought in the postgraduate was, these are the cells which are embryonically has to become a tooth, but it becomes into the ameloblastoma. Okay, so something like MAPK or ERK are important in the formation of a odontogenesis. Now, how they become into some disturbances with the happening in the mutations happening with them have become into an ameloblast. That simple one, the first picture and the second picture. To put it in the register, how he has taught to us. एक माँ के दो बच्चे थे, एक चोर बना, एक पुलिस बना. That's the classical example one. Postgrad, I went for the PhD. PhD gave me more stories about the Arabian Nights. What is this? Something you have to rub, somebody comes out. Genie, correct. What is spelling this? Correct, there is genie. Now, it has been told the mutations or the genes such as BRF, KRF or FIT, alterations in the signaling pathway will lead to the development of the odontogenic tumor. 5 साल 6 साल के बाद I understood what I came to know what is the origin of the odontogenic tumor. Any guesses? I came to know 7 साल के बाद. Classical answer is unknown. Till today, we don't know what is the stimulus that transfers this the cell rest of malaise or cell rest of enamel organ, what is the remnants become triggered and why they become into ameloblastoma. If they become into ameloblastoma, why into the so many varieties? If the same is happening with the AOT, why AOT doesn't have 6 or 7 types of histological differences? Why I shared my undergraduation, my post-graduation and my PhD is, answer is simple. After 30 years, the answer is same on the left side, saying that the odontogenic tumor arises from the remnants of the odontogenic tissue. The question also remains same. Most of them are still under the question mark, how they originated. That's the reason I wanted to share for that. Now, quite interesting part is, it has gone to the many phases of the odontogenic tumors, has gone through many phases of that, how it has been subclassified, then it becomes into the genetic mutations, then now we are into much more knowledge has been gained through that. But the still answer is, it is arises from the odontogenic remnants. Now this last question, this is quite interesting. If you read the third one, the cell test of Ceres, Padma Priya in 2015 has raised this question. She asked, the cell rest of Ceres are difficult to trace out and the persistence is questionable. Okay? Now, although there are lots of changes have been learned, and we have also, the advances have been taken, then we know about the genetic mutations, but still it is not very well understood how, because the genetic mutation, whatever we are learning, is on a single gene mutation or a small group of panels. Although 30 years back, it has been thought to us was something like viruses or malnutritionals can be a cause for that. That was written in a pink color shaver then. Now also, recently in the 2020 article in the Uganda, they suspect that the person may be suffering from the malnutritionals or it is coincidence, it's happening there. In the Uganda, this was a case reported. Although exactly how the idiopathogenesis of odontogenic tumor arises is unknown. Let's try. I have tried to simplify what can be the origin of a odontogenic tumor. We'll start with I have taken 4 lesions for that. We'll start with the ameloblastoma. Ameloblastoma, this is a recent one. This is a recent article, 2025 October. Very nice. Please do read this. This is very interesting article. In the OL, it says that maybe has hotspot mutations might be because mostly by the BRAF or KRF, or it can be of a FGFR. Rest all are the minimal components can happen, or it can be SHH, or it can be with the tooth development remnants of that, or it can be in stemless epithelial and mesenchymal interactions. As of now, it is considered is a driver for that. BRF 600 is considered to be mutagenic driver, oncogenic drive for the ameloblastoma. The next one is most commonly found is SMO. Now, recent concept says that it may not be the one person, it might be a 2-hit happening. Maybe first one is being initiated by BRAF, the second one is somebody else. Maybe EGFR, it is maybe P53 or HSP. This is just an example of that. HSP4 is a second hit going on. And many cytokines are maybe play a role, might be something like NC-RNA. This might happen with the ameloblastoma, and it can be with SHH, or it might be interactions with the environment of connective tissue, like in the cancer. But none of them will say that this is the classically, this is how it happens. Any of these people might be playing role. Okay. How it happens? Let us imagine that there is a growth factor or cytokines which has been affecting on the cell surface. That's been affecting on the cell surface. Okay, here this has been affected on cell surface. Now this RTK get phosphorylated. You can see here this gets into a phosphorylated. Now this activates the RAS. This gets into an activation of a RAS. This activation is being done by the 2 proteins. You can see there GRB2 and SOS, 2 proteins gets activated and makes an imbalance between the activated and inactivated RAS. The interesting part is the activated is being from the GDP to GTP. Now that might be because the GDP is being reduced or GDP is being hydrolyzed or increased in the numbers. This one RAS get activated of a BRAF, around 60 to 63% of the cases. Now this BRAF get activated or phosphorylated something like MEK, ERK. Till now everything was happening in the cytoplasm. This gets inside the nucleus, the transcription factor stage. From here onwards, the game change. Now if it's an EGFR or it's an SGFR, it has been activated. If it is being activated for the BRAF, the lesions which can be formed, it's not only ameloblastoma, it can be ameloblastoma, it can be an ameloblastic fibroma, ameloblastic odontoma, ameloblastic fibroadenoma, or it may be an ameloblastic fibrosarcoma or clear cell odontogenic carcinoma. Now, the pathway remains same, but how one of this will get into the lesion systems, it is not known. This is the brief discussion I made myself. I tried to read the article and I tried to make it the most easiest way how to read as opposed to if I was a student. I just made it myself. It has nothing to do with the article one. Okay. So Mogambo Kushwa, I came to know how the ameloblastoma is being originated. Picture abhi baki hai. It's not done. Now, the BRF is being expressed around 40 to 80% of the individual, wherever they have done in the America or it's in Africa or it is in China, the average is around 61% of the cases have been shown a positive for that. Now, how the rest? What about the rest? One. Two, now new lesion has been come up. The new BRF 600B is supposed to be the most predominant oncogenic driver. Now new one has been detected is L597R. This is a new variant of BRF. Maybe a game changer henceforth. Maybe this is the 2025 article, so we might have more things to come up. There is no consensus. The BRFs are being more commonly seen with the flexiform or non-flexiform types of the angioblastomas. MAPK signaling is considered to be the pathway for the odontogenic tumor, but we don't know is that going to initiate the tumor. It is that going to happen in the initiation. Now, very interesting part of the BRF is highly, means around 60 to 80% has been seen with the benign. The number goes on reducing once it becomes into a malignant tumor. While it is more commonly seen with the benign, while it becomes the staining becomes lesser in the malignant counterpart, unknown. That was for the angioblastoma. We'll go with the next lesion for the AOT. This is also quite interesting part. Biological, how it has been originating is being still under the question mark. In 1992, it was thought to be a mixed tumor. Then after that, it became into an epithelial origin. Till 2022, it is still as an epithelial origin. Recently, by Narayan et al. And Parks K has proposed this should be the both ectomesenchymal origin, not the epithelial. Read this article; it's quite interesting. Okay. Now the same answer is same. These are the originating from the odontogenic apparatus. Most commonly here it is maybe because of the tubercular dentitis or the cord or the canal, maybe source of for the AOT. Interesting part, the follicular variant is being arising from the reduced enamel of a dental follicle. Okay. Origin of extrafollicular is still unclear. Now, okay. The specific reason why it becomes into AOT is still not known. The number of cases are very less. Till 2025 also they mentioned the studies on the genetic mutations of AOT is minimal. Yeah, this is the pathogenesis, how it can happen. Okay, if you see that this is an RAS and BRAF same thing like hormones, cytokines or the growth factors that might be causing and goes touch with the receptors of the cell surfaces. Now we don't know which of that is being affecting, so they made it into a shaded one. It's a growth factor, cytokines, or with what is the trigger point we don't know. We think it is going to be a ARS. The most common mutation point is G12V. That's the most common mutation genes to occur for the AOT. The next one is G12R. The least one is G12D. This is how the ameloblastoma gets into MEK then it becomes into ERK activated. This is how they have proposed something like AOT will happen. Similar pathway remains same. Only thing is now it doesn't affect the RAS, it affects the BRF. If it is affecting the mutations happening with the KRS, it becomes AOT. It has been affecting the mutations happening with the BRF, it becomes an ameloblastoma. Rest remain same. Now, in this KRS or only the KRS types will give us to the AOT. If other types can lead to the ameloblastoma, like NRAS can lead to the ameloblastoma, ameloblastic fibrosarcoma, or HRS can lead to the only ameloblastoma. Suppose these numbers are very less, then maybe around 4 to 6%. Okay. So the other genes may be EGFR, KRF, BRF, and no other SMO and ABN genes were detected in the AOT. Exactly how it is happening and the stimulus for this is not known. Okay. A controversy for this. Yes, around 60 to 70% of the cases are being reported are the KRS mutation. What about the rest? If the origin of the extrafollicular is not clear, we don't know exactly how happens with the follicular, but the extrafollicular and the follicular variant of the AOT, the histology remains same. So the origin also same, I know. There's still the debate epithelial or it's a both. Okay. Very interesting. I just said if it is a KRS activated, then it becomes an ameloblastoma. In the same way, same pathway, same signaling pathway, if it is a PRF has been affected, it becomes ameloblastoma. Isn't it very interesting? Last line. If the pathway remains same, the BRF and the KRS pathway remains same, why ameloblastoma is aggressive? Why AOT is an indolent behavior? No answer. The new variant. The new variant is adenoid ameloblastoma. Very less cases have been. Maybe till yesterday I checked, it was 40. The number was showing as 40. So, yeah. The diagnosis of adenoid ameloblastoma is quite difficult because of the overlapping of ameloblastoma, AOT, and ghost cell tumors, dendrogenic ghost cell tumors. So, looks similar for that. Next one. Exactly how it happens is unknown. Very interesting part is we do not find any KRAS or a BRAF mutations happening here. The BRAF happening with the ameloblastoma, they have thought that it might be CTNN1 is the driver gene here. Okay, how is that happens? Now there might be a second hit happening like the ameloblastoma. There might be a secondary oncogenic events might be happening along with the ctNNA, like it may be P53, PIK3CA. All these are also seen with the ameloblastoma. That's quite interesting. All these things have been expressed in the ameloblastoma also. Okay. Okay. Now, how it happens? The pathogenesis of the adenoid ameloblastoma. This is an inactivate of a WNT. You can see the LRP56 and the frizzle on the cell surface. Interesting part, go here, go down, maybe this part, the ctNNA, you can see here, beta-catenin is being surrounded by a complex of proteins like APC, AXN, CK and GSK. All these things does not allow the beta-catenin to move from that. It becomes into phosphorylation and that becomes into degradation. That's why it does not becomes into adenoid ameloblastoma. Might be the same way it is might be the WNT has touched the cell surfaces. Now see the change in the position of the proteins which were once made as fork-like appearances surrounding the CTNN, the B-catenin and destroying or degrading it. Now, all the positions have been moved away from the beta-catenin, means it has a more free surface to move on. This goes into the nucleus. It doesn't degrade it, so it goes into the nucleus where it interacts with the TCF and LE. The game starts from there. That's how it has been proposed for that. Yeah, the same thing I made in my language, make it easy to understand. On the left side and the right side of the same picture. Okay. Now the question arises, beautifully, I don't understand. Now we have come to in the 2022, we just been made into a separate entity, and till 2022 there was no case reported from in my previous slide also I mentioned that no BRF activity. After that, a first case has been reported, the adenoid ameloblastoma with an BRF, V600 has been found positive. Now he raised the question, it is the histological variant of ameloblastoma or AOT. So I also have a question, is this an apple or an orange? I also know. Okay, continue. Now the author says here, okay, 2023 article, very interesting part. What he says is adenoid ameloblastoma and the dendrogenic ghost cell tumor are the histological spectrums of WNT game plan, and they are not the two distinct pathologies. Okay. The last one is the very interesting. As like adenoid ameloblastoma, the cases are very less. So the pathogenesis or the origin is still they are being proposing. It is thought to be etiology is controversial, but they propose this. The pathogenesis remains controversial here. POT is still new, so pathogenesis exactly how it is happening, nobody has given in the schematic diagram. I tried to find, I couldn't find any schematic for that. So here also there is a no BRF and KRF has been expressed. Don't be surprised, December 2025, a new case reported is not a surprising. Pathogenesis is considered to be genetically different from the other oligogenic tumors, and it is thought to be arising from the late cap stage to the early bell stage. Only 3 articles I could find for this, and all the 3 showed same answer. Same answer has been written in all the 3. Okay, that's ameloblastoma, and we call it as benign. Quite interesting, huh? Even I have these questions. I don't know. I'm also still looking for these questions. I still remember Rajesh sir once in the BDJ, he has published one case. Cover page it has come. 30 plus tools were impacted, followed up for a long time. Then they removed for that. No oligogenic tumors were been originating. One impacted tooth, will give you something like a big lesion, something like this. Okay. So I also have these questions with me. If you also find, let me know also for this question, answers for this. If I get an opportunity to do next time, I will try to do it with the COT and odontoma. Picture abhi baki hai. If you can wait for Pushpa and KGF, Rocky Bite to come for next edition, you can wait for my presentation on the COT and odontoma for the next. Baki for other 2 lesions, COT and for the odontoma. If I get a chance in the next conference, we'll discuss on that. Okay, I thank my mentors. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank Shetty sir and also the team, Anshi Jain of tremendous. They have worked very hard. And I'm very thankful to them. And also thanks for the division Shetty sir and me were working together in Kur 20 साल बाद 20 साल पहले 2020 2005 we were working together. Okay, thank you and Merry Christmas in advance. That's all. Any questions?
Thank you, sir, for that thought-provoking lecture, bridging the old school wisdom with the new thoughts. Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please, sir.
BRAF mutation is common in ameloblastoma, that is benign.
Yeah.
It is lost in malignant counterpart ameloblastic carcinoma. Can we say that BRAF is protecting the conversion from benign to malignant?
That's the problem is nobody says that line in the publication. Nobody want to take risk saying that it is going to protect.
Because this is lost, this is not seen in the malignant counterpart.
Correct, but nobody want to claim that line saying that this is helping something to reduce the component or something. But that's the interesting part. If it would have been stimulating something is happening with the normal epithelium becoming into ameloblastoma, then it should have been more with the malignant counterparts. How it is coming down? Actually, after both अच्छी question, but like same thing I want to know for that. Nobody supports this in the literature.
Okay, and sir, one more thing about the ameloblastoma and metastasizing ameloblastoma.
Metastasizing ameloblastoma bhi nahi dekha, and they don't show anything for the what is it? BRF is not seen that it goes on reducing. Why I did not talk about the ameloblastoma on the histological parts and also with the metastasizing and the carcinoma and both these counterparts, because our title was fixed to origin. So I was trying to make the origin into more simplified version. So I tried my level best. I don't know how much it was. How much you want to enjoy it.
It was a wonderful lecture.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you, sir. It has been a wonderful lecture. I just wanted to know if inflammation has any role in the epithelial mesenchymal interaction and thereby.
Yeah, they say that one article, they say they happens to be with the fibroblast like the cancer cells. How the cancer cells like in the squamous cell carcinoma interaction happens with the connective tissue. Similarly might be happening. So everywhere there is something like mRCNA, interactions with the epithelial mesenchymal. Everybody says the small part, nobody says that this is how it is happening.
Yes.
That's the reason I made it into 6 to 8 points for that.
Thanks.
That's it. Madam? Anything? That's it? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It has been a very interesting lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such a remarkable and insightful presentation. I now request our chairpersons, Dr. Tajinder Singh Saluja, sir, Dr. Pratibha Gopal, ma'am, and Dr. Vachala Rani, ma'am, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Dr. Anand S. Teganamani, sir. A huge round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. We would now like to felicitate our esteemed chairpersons as a gesture of their gratitude for their valuable presence and contribution to the session. May I request Dr. Saurabh Juneja, sir, HOD, Baki Bihari Dental College, to kindly felicitate Dr. Tajinder Singh Saluja, sir. A huge round of applause, please. May I now request sir to kindly felicitate Dr. Pratibha Gopal, ma'am. Let's have a big round of applause. And finally, may I request sir to kindly felicitate Dr. Vachala Rani, ma'am. A big cheer and round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again to our distinguished keynote speaker and our respected chairpersons for making this session truly enriching and memorable. And thank you everyone for your kind attention and gracious presence. We shall be beginning with the next session.